my little Simbodies, and welcome to yet another speed build. And I didn't show you the house properly, but this is another Sims streamers and YouTubers Facebook group collab, and this time we are doing Rindleton Rose. No, not Rindleton. Why did I get that from? It's Rindle Rose house, and we're supposed to be doing a renovation of the house. We're not allowed to touch the external structure. We can knock down any walls inside, and we're supposed to incorporate a second story to it as well. Now, I went with a modern look on the inside, and I decided to do a sunken living room. Now, a sunken living room is not really something that I have done quite a lot. I've only done it. This is my second attempt in doing a sunken living room from the time I started to build. And I was just trying. I felt that I did the living room just a tad bit longer than I wanted to, and I was trying to incorporate it into just to make it a little bit more cozy, but I just went with what I had. So I made the small sitting area just for, a comfortable space just downstairs, and then there was enough space, as you will see shortly, for me to incorporate a stereo, so that just to allow them to be able to dance and move around. Now, the couple that I envisioned living here, they are not fairly young. They probably just aged up into adulthood from being a young adult, and they are kind of established in their careers. I imagine the female, we'll call her Mona. I imagine her as being the artistic type. She is the artist. She has such a flair for colors, and she likes the bold touch, and that is where you will see the brightness of the colors coming in. But her husband is a chef, and he likes more muted, quiet tones. So this is where the warm wood colors come in. So she incorporates her vibrancy into the build, and he incorporates his warmth into the build, and their different styles mesh together so well that they were able to make a comfortable home for themselves. Now, they bought the Rindle Rose house at quite a good price, and since this is the home, this is where they foresee being for the next the next few years. They've decided to do this whole renovation on it just to make it into their own living space. I hadn't even realized that the walls were the medium height ones, and when I did, I was like, yes, I get to use the big windows. I find that they kind of look a bit utilitarian, but I like it, and I felt that it worked so well with this build in particular. For some reason, my camera angles drove me crazy whilst I was doing this build. It just wasn't coming together or moving as smoothly as I wanted it to, but in the end it all came out perfectly well. Now, Mona has incorporated most of her paintings into the build. Now, for when I say paintings, guys, I actually meant that there's a painting, I can't remember which pack it came in, but I think it may be Get Famous, but it looks like beautiful watercolor, whimsical type paintings, and I felt that it suited perfectly for a couple. Well, in this couple in particular, I should say. And I put it in there, and I said, this is what she's done. This is her painting, and that is that. Her husband, we'll call him maybe Robert. He is a chef, and he is somewhere in the middle of his career right now. So he has his kitchen the way he wanted it. He set it up the way he wanted it. But in regards to decor for the entire house, of course, he let Mona do most of the decorating of the house in terms of picking out the type of furniture they would use, etc. But he made sure that his influence was in there as well, because it has to be a case where, like I said, the two personalities meshes into one, and it turned out really nice, I think, overall. So you can see her artistic, whimsical side in the house, and you can see his more calming personality coming out in the house. And for the outside, I just decided it's not a case that they go out that much in terms of they really sit outside. The chair that I put there, it's purely decorational. It's just because she felt like, I'm living in the suburbs. Most of the houses have a little porch with, or maybe a little back porch with, some seating. So I'm going to throw in a chair as well, but it's not that they actually ever use the chair. So it's just there simply for decorative purposes. And that is how well it is for her. The entry is, I think, as much as it is wide. I shouldn't say wide. I mean, the whole house is like open concept. Really, downstairs anyway is like open concept. So it makes it kind of hard to make everything its own space, kind of. So I didn't clutter up as usual. I didn't clutter up the house that much, but I felt it just had enough of not making it look big and empty, but at the same time making it look warm and inviting. And I felt it worked out well that way. I did get some stuff for a dog because I believe that Mona and Rob would probably have a dog, some big tough kind of dog, maybe like I wouldn't say a Doberman, no, something, I don't know, maybe like maybe say a German Shepherd, and they would name it Bruno. For some reason, I don't know why Bruno just popped into my head, but Bruno it is. So I did put a big doggy bed right there in the living room area, just by the stairs. I put the doggy bed, and then there's the toys and everything, the walking the shelf with the leash and everything. I eventually put everything in, simply because when I was building, I did not think of them as having an animal, because I was thinking the house is like the image that I have for the house is that it is they don't get that many visitors. They kind of, it's just all decorative, really. They don't really use the sitting room. They don't, like, it's just for appearances. But then when I was in the kitchen building the kitchen, I decided, well, why not just put a dog feeder, well, the pet feeder. And then I said, you know what, they're going to have a Bruno. And that is what I did. And I said, maybe, as much as the living room looks like it's too it's just there for appearances, maybe I can have them use it. Maybe it is a comfortable spot. It's not just for appearance sake only. They can use it. That's what I decided to go with, and I said, okay, fine, that is how it is. I did put a mix once again of both Mona and Rob into the kitchen, in that the table that I use, and this is a table from the fitness pack. And guys, I still have stuff in the game that I have not gone through to see what they are. I never even knew that table was there, or if I don't think I ever used it before. So when I saw it, I was like, what? This has to be used. I wasn't sure, honestly, about it. But there it is, and it's there. And it worked in so well. I felt that the colors picked up from the living room, and it also made the kitchen just a little, a little bit of her, like I said, whimsical. Now, because of her love of color and vibrancy, she he wanted like stainless steel everything in the kitchen, and she says, you know what, no, let's incorporate the kitchen into the living room as well. So they decided to go with the blue stove and refrigerator to kind of pick up on the colors in the living room, just to make it, because it is an open space, just to kind of make it one and bring it all together. And that is what she did. And of course, some of her artwork, not all of it, is up, and I like to think of them being mostly those that aren't framed as being hers. And I think well, it's nice. I like it. I did clutter up the kitchen a little bit, and I've just felt, because it's such a small space, it made it seem lived in and cozy. It's not something, like I said, that I would usually do, but you can see some of her influences in the kitchen as well. I did use to leave the big windows bare, because, and not just bare in terms of not putting in a curtain, but open in the terms of not putting in anything to really block the views coming in, because with those windows you get so much natural light. It looks really, really nice, and well, during the day anyway, and it still makes the place look cozy, because it is a smaller space in the kitchen after all. It took me a little time, guys, to figure out what I wanted to do with that space here. I kept looking at it, like I said just before. I was thinking maybe I would put the dog upstairs, but because I had this empty space here and I built the house and I did not know exactly what I would have done with the inside, as per usual, I'm just going with whatever comes to mind. I was trying to place something that would kind of tie the two ends of the living room together, and I went back and forth and back and forth, and I finally decided to just make my own kind of rug. I think there is a rug similar to this for the children, but I didn't want to use the colors that they had there. So this build, of course, it took me 2 days to do, simply because it was due the Wednesday and I didn't get started on it until the Monday, because I had other things leading up to it, and I had unexpected visitors at home. So it cut into my time for building. And if you know me, I have said quite a few times actually, that I take a long time for me to build. I don't just do it immediately in a span of a couple of hours. So I did this in 2 builds. So downstairs I did on Monday, and the upper floor and the yard, etc., I did on the Tuesday, so I could have this out for the Wednesday. And I decided to do a small living room area, a master bedroom and bath, and an art room for her. Now, because Rob is mostly in the kitchen, that's his domain, I made upstairs mostly her domain. So Mona has her own little art studio. I did make this is a half bath and laundry area, just so well, just to do the laundry, and to have, in the event that you have your guests or come over, they get to use this hallway bathroom upstairs, instead of doing well, just the one bathroom in the bedroom. I did think maybe that I should have done a second bedroom upstairs, but I decided, well, not me, I did not decide it. Mona and Rob has decided that they're not going to have any children, and so the second room, I'm doing this in inverted commas, guys, like you can see me. The second room is actually going to just be her art studio, because she is established, like I said. She is she does get to commission work, and she is just so well known, so she needed her own working space, and she didn't want she didn't want it to have to be outside of her house, so she worked with that. I did put some colorful tiling, etc., into the bathroom, and I did want the hallway, guys, to separate the space upstairs, but at the same time I had no idea what I wanted to do with the hallway, and a hallway is never fun to decorate for me anyway. It's always hard for me to finish a hallway, so I just went with the wooden floors and the plain white walls, and I said I can incorporate some of her artwork into the build as well. So I did this, and because this is an open space with the windows coming in, I figured why not put in a succulent garden just upstairs there. So when you walk up the stairs, and again, I'm thinking of this as being Mona's influence on the build on the whole, because maybe I don't know why I always feel like the artistic type is the type to do stuff like this when I have, well, okay, I shouldn't say that because I guess I am in a way a bit of an artistic person, but yeah, I always figure that every single house should have this one kind of garden type relaxation area. And although there is no seating there, there's no place where you can sit and enjoy really the plants. I felt that it suited that little corner perfectly, and so that's what I did. I left most of the walls kind of bare because I always like to incorporate um, in gameplay the collections of the Sims that actually use the house. I find, and I love it, there are houses that I see that is so beautifully decorated, like you can almost not, you don't need to add anything else. And I think my desire to leave the house mostly kind of bare is because I just hate the clutter. And so I'm always thinking, you know what, when the Sims go through what it is they go through in life, they do add their own stuff, so just leave it as that. With this art studio, I did for her a separate like office area for her to sit and think and do stuff, and I decorated that. I did decide to put the curtains up simply again because I think that she may not always want all this brightness coming in, depending on her mood and depending on what it is that she's doing. So she does have the options for her to close the windows or lower the blinds, depending on what shadows and stuff that she is going for with the build. I left the art room, sorry, the art studio mostly bare again, just with the bare essentials. I did put down eventually some newspapers further to the corner where the paint splattered rug wasn't reaching, just to ensure that there is maximum coverage for paint splatters. And the floor, the whole kitchen, I don't know why I said kitchen, the whole studio is in brick and like the old wooden floors, and that is, I think, deliberate. We can say that Mona specifically requested that type of build items for her studio. Maybe it reminded her of not growing up, I would say, but maybe her time in Paris when she was studying art, where she was living. Maybe it was mostly brick and the wooden floors, so she wanted to incorporate that into her home as well. My Sims are almost always nostalgic. I don't know why that word gave me trouble to pronounce. And then I did use some of the bookshelf I use in the studio is from the update that we received recently, and it fits so well with the ladder pot holder for the flower pots, so it worked. With the room, I went with, again, mostly Mona's influence, and some of Rob's is there as well. She did take the muted tones for him, like the warmer tones, like I said, for him, but she did incorporate a bit of flair to it, so it's not just stark boring colors. I shouldn't say just boring, it's not really boring, but that's how I worded it, so that's what it remains. And her wardrobe is, of course, something that she found maybe at the flea market and she liked it, so she got it, and that was it. The bedroom is an open space, really. There is not too much clutter, and that is Rob's influence showing in her. He is not much of a clutter type person, and he likes to know that when he comes into the bedroom he can unwind and relax. And yeah, so basically that's what it is with the bedroom. So there is a lot of open space in the bedroom, but that is simply because it is how Rob decided that he wanted the place to be. So it is not overly stifling for him. So I just went with that and kept it as is. The master bathroom, I did the bath and the shower, the tub with the shower curtain, because I imagine that Mona likes to relax and get inspired that way. Just take nice bubble baths and lean back and just let the thoughts flow to her. There is this one big window in there, and I just put a curtain just to be able to draw it across when it's night and she wants to feel like there's a bit of privacy, simply because I put the windows in thinking that yes, they're big and people can see. I mean, it's big and it brings in so much light, but it's maybe tinted. The glass is tinted so that they can see out, not necessarily people can see in. And but because of course with the light being on at night, there may be some silhouette. So she decided to do that, to just draw the curtain across. So like I said, the house is lived in. It's not just all decorative. They did make it so that they can enjoy it, and it's not just decorative. I do like, I think the whole build that I did, I do like the first floor the best, I believe, because it just feels so cozy and comfortable, more than the upstairs. I wanted to include just a little backyard, the backyard type look for them, simply because I did not put the balcony is not really used. I did not put a balcony upstairs, although I thought about it. And I wanted a place for them to really entertain the guests and to do, because Rob likes to cook. He likes to socialize. And Mona, not so much. She is not, I would say, reserved, but she does like her solitude sometimes. So she said, yes, hey, there are times when we will have people over, but we can always have them inside, especially when she's in her sulky mood. I say that because that's so much like me. So they did the whole patio area outside. So there is the grill, there is private dining just for the two of them, and then there's the entertainment area where multiple Sims can sit and talk and just relax. And I did put in just a little bit of clutter here, and then I put in just a small flower garden there. Guys, yeah, so that was it basically. And I wanted to do a I don't know why I'm stumbling over this right now, almost at the end of the video. More modern landscaping. I felt that would have been really, really nice, but I didn't. I went with warm and inviting, and simply because they do realize they're in a suburban area, and because of the house being what it is already, they wanted to make it probably seem just a little bit more warmer from the outside coming in. There is one vehicle because maybe Mona likes to ride her bicycle around sometimes, most times, rather than actually go out with the vehicle. So it's mostly Rob who uses it. And well, that's basically it. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, guys. Let me know what you think about it below, and I will be putting the links to the other collab. at the bottom. Bye.